Welcome to the committee, BoF. Please grab one of these handheld microphones if you want to say something. It is easier for the people watching recordings and streams. You will be clearer than just what these microphones in the middle pick up. So the DebConf committee has recently been updated. It now includes all the people sitting in the middle here. Let's do a quick round of introductions. I'm Stefano. I've probably been in the committee the longest now since we created it. Were you also of Debconf26?
I think so.
Right. So Gunnar and I have been there since the committee was created from the previous incarnation. Gunnar goes back before the existence of the committee when they were chairs.
I'm Randa. I've been a member of the committee since this year, so I'm fairly new to the game and trying to find my ways into the team.
I'm Antonio. I was the lead organizer for Debconf26, and I've been in the committee since a little bit after that.
But I am Gunnar. I have been, as I interjected, I think I have been here forever. At least it feels like it.
I'm Nati. I've also been here approximately forever, but I've officially been on the committee since 2023.
I'm Santiago. I'm a very recent member of this committee. I was one of the organizers of Debconf25 and also remote for this year, helping a little bit.
Hi, I am Jongmin. I became a committee member from 2 months ago. I was a local organizer during Debconf24, and now I'm wrapping up to 24 things still.
Right, thank you. What should we discuss? I was having a conversation yesterday with Jongmin about what the role of the committee is, because in practice the role of the committee is wider than our delegation says. If we look at the text of our delegation, it talks about the bid process, making the decision of who hosts DebConf, mentoring teams, and making decisions within DebConf. For delegated roles, I think that makes sense, but of course, the committee is also expected to do a lot more. I mean, the local team makes DebConf happen, the committee makes DebConf happen. We all make DebConf happen. We fill in wherever we can.
I think an important part that's not mentioned in the delegation, because it's not strictly even necessary, but usually every year some committee team members travel beforehand to visit what will be the team's location in order we need people that knows what is usually needed from every event and all that. So that's not a formal role that we have, but that's something we usually do.
What are the costs?
The ghosts.
Oh, the ghosts. Well,
Never mind.
one of the roles, I would say, of the DebConf committee is that we are all ghosts of DebConf Orga past. We've previously run DebConfs. We roughly know how to do it. And when a new team needs advice, we can say, we've tried this before and it worked or it didn't work.
So more or less the collective memory of DebConf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continuity.
We can probably do a better job of turning some of this collective memory and
Maybe
continuity into
memory,
documentation.
not menu.
Collective
Menu.
memory. On site visits, sometimes we've also visited potential DebConfs, so sometimes visits during the bid phase. before decisions are made. That's more of a practical thing. If a couple of us are traveling to do site visits anyway and there happens to be a bid in the area, maybe it makes sense to visit them too.
So I asked to Stefano yesterday about this because I am quite new and I want to deeply know about the committee, so I learned a lot yesterday. And why I asked to Stefano was, the delegation text was telling the mission of the committee as a bidding process and decision making, overriding the decision making. I mean, the most important part of the committee could be a bidding process, right? Including the site visit, I guess. Some of the people, I was the chief organizer during the DebConf24, and then after that time, and during that time, I overthought like a committee should have a decision more than the local team. I mean, at that time I thought like that because I didn't know our committee. So even though I was the chief organizer, I thought like that. I mean, committee do not have much power, right? We are a part of the team, right? We do the team things and we do the team things together, and just when we really need, then we can override the team's decision, but it doesn't happen much, right? But at that time, I thought like your committee should do things, but they seems not too many things, and it seems right now even some of people also think like that committee do not look like they are doing something. So I asked to Stefano, what is committees? What does committee really do? Now I understand. But there is some concern about the people in DebConf still.
So I think we should try and describe a little more of this in our DebConf documentation. For every year we have to deal with newcomers to DebConf trying to learn about us, and if we can make these things clearer, it helps. So to do. We also had some conversations about other improvements we can make to the documentation. So there's always more that we can describe about steps of onboarding new teams and what the new local teams need to be doing.
Yes, this was also my experience of starting the DebConf24. I read the document you can see at the screen. There is a timeline which describes the thing from 2 years ago, 2 years before, and 1 year before, and 10 months before, 9 months before. There are a lot of things to do, but it seems very,
Gunnar, can you raise your mic a little bit? Apparently you're hard to hear. There we go.
Well, yeah, on that regard, I think like hashing out a good timeline is a very hard task to do because of the particularities of each region. I mean, for example, it was hard to explain to people that in Argentina they didn't know the dates of the vacations for the university until quite late on.
No, I think we need to tweak something.
Okay, please tweak me. Okay, we'll try. I can try with the microphone as well.
No, might be better.
It's fine.
It is finer now. Anyway, I said what I was intending to say.
Gunnar, is your mic even on?
Well, blah, 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 blah,
Check. Check the thing if it's turned on.
It is not turned on. Yeah, how, where?
Even Gunnar can't
on the
project so
top.
well that you can hear him without a mic.
Okay, now. Anyway, I think I said what I was intending to say, but just in a phrase. The thing is, it would be great to have a complete overview and time progression, but the differences in each country are so big that we cannot really have this in good detail.
Yes, sorry. I'll move that a little out the way. There we go.
Thank you, Gunnar. And I want to add some practical things like we should create a Git repository somewhere, and you have to write some wiki page somewhere. Okay. The kind of practical things are missing in the timeline, so it can be added. I can add that, I think.
Also, with respect to how the web pages schedule and the whole thing is structured, I think we can definitely improve the documentation on that to find our ways in. I'm willing to dig myself into that and document along the process for potential future members of the committee so that they know where, like, who is able to deploy, where all these things are, how the different bits work together. This is not something very clearly understandable or visible, so that would be something we better can document, so we know whom to bother.
And each year we are using Ledger to create a book and manage the book, right, Stefano? And should it be fixed? I mean, should it be described in the document, because using the Ledger is quite complex?
I think so. Some of it is actually, quite a bit of it is documented, but not the basics of Ledger.
There is a script named wrapper.
Yes.
Maybe written by you, right? Describing how to use the wrapper and what does it do.
In Debconf24, Youngmin collected data on who the contributors were to Debconf, and this is things like who the local org were, who ran what teams, and got this information into contributors.debian.org. This is probably a nice thing to do in other years, and now that we've figured out a process, we should do it, and probably document it for the future.
I did want to have an open discussion with the committee. I mean, every year, volunteers and speakers are recorded by wafer, right? And the local organizers who are contributing on site, it does not record it anywhere. So that is why I think like this, and I drafted as a sample into the contributors.debian.org. So you may want to see there, but this work is quite manual work. What I did one is maybe the next year, 25 last year, and this year, people also, if they want to do also like me, then they should work manually. Also, it will take many time. And the work manpower to collect who did which thing for which period. Yeah, collecting them and adding into the contributors.debian.org. So we may have something. Not sure.
Yes, this is something that is very important. So for instance, Paulo has been doing this for the Brazil in DebConf. So he recorded since the very first we did in 2016. And if you go to contributors, you have the data sources for all of them. And we had discussed about having Wafer providing this data so that we don't need to do much and just point contributors at a URL that's provided by Wafer. And it's possible, and we should probably do it. I mean, if we can group people in Wafer, like have a local organizers group and add everyone, then this data should be able to be exported easily.
Then during 24, there was no system to mark who is the organizer or not in the Wafer, right? So if it is implemented, then it will be easy.
Given that especially the volunteers we have already in Wafer, so it should be easy to export that. Potentially, local team, there might be a possibility to mark them in their profile so that gets exportable too.
Local team can also just be collected by hand. I mean, if we're describing work on DebConf, that's probably months before DebConf as well as...
Yeah, what I aim at, if we definitely likely have to do it by hand, but if we have the export feature for contributors there through the volunteer task, front desk and video team and through that already, the hand selection can also be done in Wafer to use the same export feature.
Yeah. Would we include attendance? Do we probably need a new checkbox on registration, or
Right.
I allow my
The thing is,
attendance to be...
We try to make as little personal information public as possible. So at some point in the past we did, and we were very happy, and we always announced everything. But since several years we don't. We try to be more careful about it.
Is attendance really something that we want to credit as contribution?
It's participation in the project.
Yeah, it shows activity in Debian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And it is important for some people.
If we are exporting the, yeah, exactly, speakers, that's what I wanted to say.
I would, just a short remark, I would see attendance be on the similar level as sending a mail to a Debian mailing list, and that is also marked.
As a side note, it could help also the content team to evaluate some tasks.
Thank you.
I mean, the attendance.
No, a content team can take input from that data. Anniversary, yeah.
Yeah, so this next topic is one that I started. So I'm planning to propose an outreach project for this December round. And I created this issue in Wafer DebConf to record all the demands we have. Like, there is a lot of stuff in there. Obviously, there's not going to be a single internship to do all of that. But I just want you to know that if you have, well, one I already realized is that we need to be more strict with scheduling things. Like, we need to be sure that people are really coming. So this is something we need to add.
We discover this every year when the first person doesn't show up.
Yes. Yeah, so there is this issue if you want to leave comments. So what I'm doing is I'm reading the comments and then consolidating them in the issue, in the body of the issue. So this will be like the starting point for planning that internship. So it's a chance of, well, we don't have to wait for the internship for everything, but it's a good opportunity to have someone involved in our community doing this work. So if you have ideas on what we need to do, then you can, it's a lot of stuff there, right? And we can also use this list as like a sort of starting point for people who want to start contributing to the website, even if outside of this internship. So yeah, that's probably useful.
Lots in here. Yeah. Is there anything that anyone else would like to ask the committee or ask about DebConf?
Hi. This year, there was an increase of the amount of the sponsorship, the value of the tie for sponsorship. Maybe we should think about to create ties for local companies cheaper than the Europe and USA normal prices. Maybe think about at least for Brazil in 2019 it will be help if you have the ties or lower than the regular values.
Actually, it was already the case for the local sponsor this year. So there was a 40% discount for Argentinian companies.
Cool, it's good.
We didn't openly announce it. The sponsorship brochure says, if you are a local company, talk to us for special treatment or something like that.
Yeah, it's good.
And just for the record, the sponsorship amount went up because it had been increased since 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was the time to review it.
Yeah, sure.
And flight prices are double what they normally are this year.
Yeah. Not just because of the destination, but because of the...
Yeah.
Like, how about having a, like, what is our smallest tier? Supporter?
Mhm.
Maybe having 2 tiers, like, a bit lower, we may offer less perks, but those who want to support and have their name on website that we can...
Well, yeah, below supporter, it's basically you can participate as a corporate attendee, and that would be like not even having
Okay,
a logo.
supporters is less than 3,000. Any amount counts as supporter. Okay, that
Well,
works.
the sponsorship team needs to accept you as a sponsor. If you offer €10,
Yeah.
they
I
won't-
agree.
they
Like,
won't
there
put
is
your logo on the
starting,
website.
yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that probably is useful or helpful is what Brazilians guys do, which is crowdfunding. Probably something that we could experiment next year.
So we did this a little bit last year, asking for partial contributions for bursaries because we were desperately short of money. I know our sponsorship team is always very hesitant to do crowdfunding because they think the amount of money we need is quite high and big companies can pay that. But yeah, the sponsorship team isn't currently in the room, but
Yeah,
I
but
remember those arguments.
Yeah, the target of the crowdfunding is the audiences, the individuals rather than companies.
Well, in a way, we did. I mean, to increase funding this time, what we did is to print extra T-shirts, to make the mates, to have things to sell, which we don't always have. And I don't have the numbers, but I think it has been giving us some breathing space. We could add it to
We could add a model to buy things during the subscription that you can choose, I want a cup, I want a T-shirt, this kind of thing.
as long as it doesn't create troubles for the front desk or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to work on the logistics for that, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, this year came very close to that. We're selling wine at the front desk, and
Yeah.
and a lot of merch. We weren't quite sure whether we would be able to take the payment for these things in France, so that's why it wasn't sold during registration. If we were able to figure out the details of that sooner, we could have sold them in registration.
So obviously also the merch situation in this case is specifically complicated. We specifically have to take cash this time because of the tax situation and the fact that card transactions attract an extra charge. So. In principle, I'm actually fine with selling merch at my desk.
This can be differ between the countries, right?
Even in the venues, some universities will not like having activities that involve exchanging money. So if that were the case in UNL, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
But if you sell it all online before the event, then there's no money changing hands. It's here's your merch. Look,
Of course.
yeah,
Of course.
here's your box of wine.
Should this kind of thing also should be added into the onboarding step?
Mentioned at least. I don't know, there's so much to onboard that if we onboard with everything, it would be too much information.
Introducing gradually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in this case you want more of a reference documentation instead of tutorial. So something you can query if and when you get to it. But yeah.
think possibly sort of selling things in advance would make it easier to predict the amounts of merch that are needed. So, because we've already sold quite a lot and have run out of a lot of things already.
Should we... other potential topics of conversation could be the health of various DebConf teams, potential DebConf... where are we with bids for the future? Can we continue to afford DebConf the way it is? Is DebConf getting too big and complicated for anyone to want to run? There are potential ideas here anyway. I don't know if there's anything anyone wants to talk about.
But as long as we still have bids, there are still people foolish enough, brave enough.
I mean, the thing we've observed is DebConf keeps getting bigger and more complicated. Every year we add more things. Coffee Lab is now a permanent feature of DebConf and needs a table and water and electricity and constant bean supply. Internet. Yeah.
So even if we have more and more things adding to DebConf regular, but I'm it works out. Like whatever is available, some things get arranged according to that. Like we are not kind of people who we want it just like that. Whatever is there, okay, if this is how the situation is, we will adapt to it. So I think till now it did work out, but let's see. As Gunnar said, till we have people ready to host DebConf, I think we are good. But when we are going down, we might have to rethink.
But regarding that comment, I think it should be clear for next organizers that they are free to remove features from DebConf. If having a Coffee Lab is not possible, it should be perfectly fine to remove it. And the same thing for everything else.
Yeah, I think empowering local teams to say no is very important, something that we should stress when they bid, because if you keep adding an infinite amount of things, then it's going to be impossible to keep doing it.
I think one thing that is very hard to deal is, at least for me, in my opinion, it's the 7 days for DebCamp. Sometimes if it's possible, if the local team thinks to decrease the DebCamp days, I think it will help a lot, especially if you have few people locally organizing, and if you don't have enough money to pay hotel and food and everything. At least for me, if I would organize a DebConf, I for sure think about to reduce the number of the days of DebCamp. And sure, leave it open for the video team work before the DebCamp and the amount of the days that they need, but for general public, for the general attendees, I would reduce the DebCamp days for sure.
Well, in that regard, for example, if you look at the DebConf history, in DebConf 14 in Portland, well, Steve Langashek didn't like DebConf, actively thought it was a waste of time. So he proposed to change the structure so as we had some days that had hacking space in the morning or in the evening, and it was not a 14-day conference, but maybe a 10-day conference or something like that. And it worked, but for the next year we prefer to go back to the traditional model. I mean, we can do that. We can play, we can bend the DebConf traditions or do away with some of them. And well, of course, we are also, we know that not everybody, DebConf is not supposed to be an event for everybody. If everybody shows up, okay, so be it, but usually it's not.
I'd also say the last couple of years we've been quite successful with having a pre-DebCamp, let's get things organized locally sprint. 2 or 3 days before the start of DebCamp really makes the start of DebCamp smoother.
Then we will have a week before the conference.
Welcome.
Maybe the sprint could actually fit
But
the pre-DebCamp sprint could actually just fit directly before a shortened DebCamp if necessary.
Or straight after the previous DebConf.
But-
before DebConf.
But is the expectation for DebCamp really that high that everything has to work from the first day? Actually, I think to some degree DebCamp is the place where things for the conference get finalized and things gradually start to work better.
I think we've had
Yeah.
both.
Sorry. So I think particularly last year there was the necessity that at least badges worked perfectly beforehand, like because of the specific requirements of the venue. Generally, yes, we've used DebCamp to sort of ramp up things, but also there seem to be more people coming to DebCamp, or at least coming from the very beginning. The arrivals aren't quite are still somewhat staggered over the course of the week, but yeah, there's a lot more people showing up right at the start. In the vague sort of subjective impression that I get.
I've got a graph of this somewhere.
So DebCamp is a place where we can start, we can have things sorted out and things, but basic things like rooms, accommodation, and like venue restrictions are something we will have to figure out, and that's what we were doing in these pre-DebCamp things, mostly.
Yeah, because frequently, despite things being mostly ready, there will always be last-minute changes with who actually manages to attend.
That's the arrival curve for this year.
And we have a lot of people arriving before the 14th, yeah?
Yeah. We have had DebConfs in the past where we didn't have working network on the first day or two of DebCamp, and that's just unproductive for everybody. So there are some basic things that we need in place. Having network badges are usually not critical, but some venues need them. Having food tickets almost ready to go, that just makes DebConf work more smoothly. Everything else we can figure out during DebCamp.
Even food tickets, I mean, the first days we can count heads.
We have 10 more minutes. Yeah, anybody? You're content team. You should know this more than I do.
Yeah, the last points you added there, we didn't really discuss about team status. I think yet again, bursaries was very late. Yet again, content was very late. And we need to fix that somehow.
That's part of the problem. Part of the problem is teams not being present. Activate. There are a few time-critical teams.
Yeah.
Like visas and bursary are the big things that need to happen.
Content should be considered critical.
Yes.
We are usually consistently late, and that's a pain point for attendees.
Specifically people who need visa.
Yes.
It's all interconnected.
Yeah, the thing is, you need information on A to make B and B to make C, and
Yes,
C
yes,
to make
I
A.
understand, but in the end, like people who need visa, they are like stuck. For example, this year, Argentinian embassy had a requirement for applying 6 weeks before you travel. By the time we got invitation letters and all the required documents, it was less than 6 weeks, like 5 weeks or something. But we had to like apply with changed dates. We didn't book tickets, so we changed the dates and applied. But later it worked out. But there may be like similar requirements from different embassies, which might actually restrict us to like even apply for visa. So
Yeah.
I don't know what like can we do. Should we start registrations very early or?
Every year we say we should start registrations earlier than this year. Like, this is something we always conclude we need to do. It's always difficult to get registration started because it needs the local team to be ready. They need to have figured out roughly what registration is going to look like. If we improve the website registration, maybe we can get this to a point where we don't need a full registration when you're applying for your bursary.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. How about like just apply for bursary before?
Right, but then we need to do work to support this.
Yeah, I agree. But
And
like,
if we make it too early, then bursary, we still don't know what our expected budget is because we still don't have enough information on sponsor acquisition. There's a lot of interconnection there that...
so like at least we have a starting budget for bursary anyway. So at least first round can go like people who are sure we want to be there. So we can send out the bursary approvals like early. So at least that many people are like, they can make it. Otherwise like the second and third rounds may have to wait for budget updations and things.
And I think this year we did make, and I wanted to make it like explicit, we did make a good advance on that regard by having team-specific bursary budgets where many people didn't have to wait for general bursary process. I think it was good.
One of the things that goes through all of these issues is that there doesn't seem to be much rotation in the core teams of the DebConf organization. And so a lot of the people are either overcommitted or burnt out or both. I see that in video as well. Like, it's kind of been the same people doing this work in a hurry. I don't know how we can fix that. It's just something that needs to be raised, I think.
Every team probably needs to be making more of an effort to recruit new...
yeah.
Leniara's got a hand raised.
I would like to say if it's possible to make some agreement with the SPI, for example, to faster reimbursement. For us in Brazil, for example, sometimes it's too expensive to travel, so you wait 2 or 3 months to receive the money. It's a little pain for us.
There was an idea that floated around to have ETO, either SPI or Debian France, register with a travel agent so that people can book travel through the travel agent and the money gets out of the TO account directly with a validation process. This is services that are available for companies of all sizes, so we should be able to look into that. If someone can look into it, I'd be happy to arrange the TO side of things. I don't have the bandwidth to be looking into it myself, but yes, this is something that we discussed in Hamburg as well with one of the outreachy mentors who had to float the money for his intern to get here. So,
yeah. At the moment we have an informal system for this, where if you know the right person to ask, you can get your tickets.
Yeah, that's
booked.
the problem. No, not everybody knows the risk.
And it relies on personal connections. Like I will float your ticket if I know you and know that you're going to come to DebConf. But we can't do that for people who are brand new and nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
We have reached time
Which
up.
makes sense.
Yeah. I think for new attendees, it's always going to be a concern.
New attendees problem, it's very difficult to solve, but I'm talking about people we already into.
Sorry, say that again?
New attendees problem is something different which we cannot address. This,
Right.
like known contributors, developers, having a better solution in place would be like really good.
one last thing on this subject, it allows us to potentially get cancelable tickets earlier, and so cheaper cancelable tickets that we can cancel if we know that the person doesn't come eventually, which means that the risk is hedged on the TO side and not on the attendee side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because attendees want to spend as little money as possible, and so they take non-refundable tickets, which is a problem when they're not able to attend. Yeah.
I think this is something we can discuss more in Debconf bursary team BoF, and I think travel agent having tied up is a good idea, so we can.
Okay, we see a sign that says that time is up. I don't know if somebody wants to wrap up with a little last thing, or should we just close the session? Close the session. Okay, thank you.